Welcome to Pillar Sports. Welcome back, everybody. Today we are talking about Anthony Elanga. It's basically a case of big fish in a small pond. Like we get this news, everybody is talking about around the globe that Manchester United should have not sold Anthony Elanga. But this is the point. This is the point here that I have to talk about. That a lot of people are not seemingly understanding. Now, the first things first is Anthony Elanga has shown that he has turned into a really good player. What is one thing that we knew about Anthony Elanga coming into Manchester United and playing for Manchester United? We knew he was an athlete. We knew he had incredible work rate. We knew that he had an honest view about the game. He played the game very, very clean, very honestly, and he was just about playing and giving his best for the team. However, we also knew that he lacked the finishing touch. His movement in the box was really bad. Well, not really bad, but let me say it wasn't at the point that he is right now for Nottingham Forest. He wasn't going to be getting the playing time that we expected him to play, and his strengths were not perfect and were not conducive for a team that would always have the ball. Now, for the likes of Anthony Elanga is a kind of player, right? That while they are playing, his biggest threat comes behind the defense. If he has space to run into, that's where his biggest threat comes into play. But one thing about Manchester United is Manchester United, for majority of the sides that we play and the Manchester United plays, we are going to have the ball. Manchester United is going to have the ball, and therefore it is going to be a tough game, a tough play for someone that is not very technically sound when it comes to close play and when it comes to not having that run behind. And so when people are always talking about especially after he basically, let me not get me, let's say what it is. He demolished us yesterday. The fact of we had three players trying to get the ball off Anthony Elanga and could not get the ball off him is testament to his growth. It truly is testament to his growth, and not just his growth, but also testament to what Nuno Espirito Santo has been able to do, giving him the confidence, giving him the ability to actually showcase what he has in the locker. But for us, all of a sudden, for United fans to start saying Manchester United should not have let Anthony Elanga go, and in fact, I see a lot of people, and this man, with all due respect, the fact that people open their mouth and tell me that the players that we had, the wingers that we had at that time, Antonio Elanga was better than them, to me is just ludicrous. It's ludicrous. Yes, it hasn't worked out. But the truth about it is everybody had their chance in Manchester United. Anthony Elanga was playing every game under Ragnick. He was playing every time under what's his name? I think he was preferred under Ragnick. I think he was also preferred under Ten Hag too to start with, but it just did not work out, and that's why he was sold. But we all of a sudden start to revise history about what the situation was when it comes to Anthony Elanga. And I think because he performed very well yesterday should not be why we decide that we all of a sudden want to all of a sudden want Anthony Elanga back. If he comes back to Manchester United, it will still be the same situations that we are facing today. Yes, he understands. He knows how to keep the ball better. He has close dribbles now. He is stronger. He is faster, and he has actually added the finishing to his game. His composure has gotten a lot better. But for us to decide that, oh, he should have been better. We let him go for 15 million pounds and bought Anthony for 89. Yes, all those things are facts. But when it comes to the style of play that Manchester United will be playing, or wants to play, and the style of play that Manchester United played in the past, Antonio Elanga was not the perfect person for that. Now, he would have been perfect for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because we played a counter-attacking football. We played it so much and so well under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But Manchester United is not a team that gives other people the license to come and attack. Yes, we understand that as Manchester United, we need to have the threat of counter-attacks because that is also part of the game. If you are able to actually expand your the ways to attack, that helps you big time when it comes to football. But we cannot be dependent. That should not be our first tactic, and that is why the thumbnail says "small, big fish in a small pond," because Anthony Elanga is a good player. He has turned into a really good player that the likes of Newcastle wants, the likes of Tottenham Hotspur wants, the likes of Liverpool could actually need. But the way we want to play football, we were not going to see that from Anthony Elanga with his playing time at Manchester United at that time, with the playing style at Manchester United at that time. Now he has gone to Nottingham Forest and has absolutely blossomed. And that is because of the playing time that he has gotten, because of the coaching that he has gotten, because of the tactics that he has gotten. That is one of the reasons why you see Newcastle actually go in for him in January. I think they went in for him in January. And I probably believe that they are going to go in for him again in the summer because of the likes of Anthony Gordon will be tempted to go to Liverpool. The likes of Isak will be tempted out. Miguel Amorim will probably be out of Newcastle and all those things. Oh, I think he's already out of Newcastle, and so Anthony Elanga would be a perfect replacement. And Eddie Howe understands how to utilize those kinds of players. But it can't. The thing that we also need to talk about is Anthony Elanga's strength still lies behind the channels. It lies when he has the channels to run into. It doesn't lie into intricate dribbles and intricate passing one twos and situations like that. I don't still see it in Anthony Elanga. However, I still see, okay, I understand he's gotten a lot better, but we gotta be a little bit more clever in the way we think about the situations, because we looked at what Rúben Amorim said after the game when he was asked about Anthony Elanga, and I totally agree with what he said. He said the ex-players had their opportunities. They did have their opportunities, but with Manchester United, you are not given time. You are not given the time to be able to blossom into this budding superstar. This is because of we do not have our foundations. Our foundations are not strong enough to actually see that the youths that are coming into Manchester United's first team actually have the ability to grow. They have the patience, they have the time to grow. Let me give you an example. Ruben Amorim during Sporting, he had a team that he had created. I think that was when they went. I think that was the second year. He had a team, and he built that team on experience and on youth. Because, in fact, let me not use Ruben Amorim. Let me use um, the likes of Manchester United, for instance. Manchester United bringing in youth in the past always had a superstar or an experienced player that were perfect in that role, to so that youth player will be an understudy. I'll give you an example. Danny Welbeck was coming up. But while Danny Welbeck was coming up, we had the likes of Robin Van Persie, um, Wayne Rooney. I think Chicharito was still there at the time when Danny Welbeck came in first. So you see, we had a certain caliber of strikers that Danny Welbeck could walk under, could could learn his trait under. Therefore, we see that he was able to give us a lot better, a lot more. And of course, his career with Manchester United did not last as long as we wanted it to last because of injuries and just because of we wanted to win at the time. And so he did not kind of break through the way I wanted him to break through for years on years because I knew he had the talent. However, Manchester United, that has always been the secret in any team, in any big team. You need the mixture between really good experienced players that could show the young players the way, and then you can then funnel some young players in through. Now look at Liverpool. You see the likes of Robinson, one of the best left backs in the league. Not anymore this season because of his getting older and situations like that. But then you see the likes of Trent and Connor Bradley, Robinson and Simicas. There's always like a hierarchy between experience and a younger player. Um, and that's how you're meant to build it. But Manchester United does not have that experienced player that has basically solidified his role in the team. And so the young players coming in are being trusted into too much, so much responsibility, and they can basically bow and break due to the immense responsibility that they are facing in that situation. Now let's talk about Ruben Amorim, um, about how he saw the game. He says, "I can see the progress for sure. But now we must focus on winning games. We should have won this game versus Forest, not even drawn. But in the end, we lost 3 points." He is so right because Manchester United against Forest had the better chances, had the domination of the ball, had clear cut chances in that game. But what was one thing that we all understood? We just could not finish. The final third was truly appalling. It was appalling to a core because we had 28 shots, 6 on target, and the XG only got higher when we brought Harry Maguire on. That is to tell us that where are the goals coming from? I think Ruben Amorim made a little bit of a mistake where he brought he took Rasmus Højlund to the bench, moved Joshua Xerxes to the number 9, moved Bruno to the number 10, and then took Ugarte to play that 2-8. I think he should have played it the same way he played the last game, where Rasmus Højlund started the game. Xerxes was the 10, Bruno was the 8, just dictating football. The way I saw the game and the way I basically looked at this situation, I looked at it as, and hindsight is definitely 2026, because I looked at the game, especially when the game started at first, that they were going to drop off. It was going to be a low block from Nottingham Forest. And not just being a low block, it was going to be a situation where Bruno Fernandes playing the 8 would be around the area of the 10 regardless, because we will be playing a high line in order for us to squeeze and get a lot of players into positions where we can actually be threatened. And then having the likes of um, Joshua Xerxes in the pockets would absolutely make more sense, with Rasmus being able to then dash into spaces and create like a distraction for the likes of Moreno and Milankovic. That would have been where I would have worked it. That way, we have Bruno Fernandes's pace, we have his ability to be in terms of work rate, but also have the likes of Ugarte just doing the job that he knows how to do best, which is focusing on covering and basically intercepting all the messes that were going to happen. Now that did not work out, and we should not even go into that situation. I just know that that game, the tactics from the start was not the greatest, but it was lack of our defense, lack of us understanding, or those three players understanding that we need to step up and go like correct the game or correct the issue instead of us backing off until Alanga got into the 18-yard box and finished with his left foot. That is something that we will definitely have been coached on, or we will coach. I believe they will coach it into the boys. But I think it's definitely something that we need to figure out. Now let's talk about what Anthony Elanga said after the post game. He says coming to Forest was about playing, not. I'm not the finished product. I have learned a lot. I learned a lot at Manchester United. I appreciate them a lot. I'm enjoying my football and want to keep going. That basically makes sense. He's still not the finished product. He was a budding talent, no doubt about it. His greatest attribute was his athleticism. It was basically like you telling me that you want the likes of Adama Traore at Manchester United. Now, if Adama Traore can put in that finishing aspect of his game, then he becomes a huge threat for any team. And that's the same thing with Anthony Alanga. This season, we are seeing him actually chip in with assists and goals to tell you that he's growing. He's growing in that scenario. And so it is going to be a good thing to see, but it's still not a situation where we should be scared to make these kinds of decisions. I understand that a lot of people now are making that same mistake of saying, "Oh, Garnacho should be sold. He's too stingy." One thing we know for a fact is Garnacho has the ability to adapt a lot better than what Alanga showed at Manchester United. Garnacho has the ability to finish a lot better than what Alanga showed um, for Manchester United, and he has, to me, a higher ceiling than Anthony Elanga. So I don't think the mistake should be made of selling Garnacho and then finding out. But I think we need to do a lot of work in terms of coaching Garnacho on his final third decisions. It just has to do with watching film. It has to do with pointing it out. It has to do with him just going to the drawing board. It's not even about being on the pitch with this one. It's going to the drawing board and just looking over film and understanding, okay, in this position, that was an option and I chose to shoot. This position, that was an option and I chose to shoot. This position, that was an option and I chose to cut back. All those things are things that you can see. You can see clearly in what they call it in the film session. And it has to be something where he has to put in the effort. If not, that would be truly a disappointing sight to see that someone of that talent and someone of that ceiling doesn't see the ceiling out at Manchester United. Now, to talk about Hendrick, I have to just bring Hendrick. And Hendrick basically says, he said, here we have Vini, Mbappe, Jude, Rodrigo, the four best players in the world. I am no one. I'm here to work and I'm not about who starts. I have to do my best and work hard to stay at Madrid my whole life. Let me tell you something. For what this boy has been doing, whenever he plays, I'm telling you, based on the stats, he has been averaging a goal per 75 minutes. For anybody, if a striker can give you a goal per 75 minutes, we are talking about a world-class striker. Now, for Hendrick, for Bobby Charlton, may he so rest in peace, but for Bobby Charlton's best mate, that is incredible. Because the moment they put Hendrick in the pitch, he finds a way to score. He finds a way to score. And he has not been having the greatest of times because he hasn't been playing. Just like he mentioned, there is Vini, there's Mbappe, there's Jude, and there's Rodrigo right in front of him. There's still what they call him, Brahim Diaz. that is in front of him. There's Adar Gula that is in front of him. All these players in front of Hendrik. But Hendrik, every time he gets an opportunity, he takes his opportunity by scoring a goal. Today against what do you call it? Against Real Sociedad, the game ended at 4-4. It was an incredible game. And he scored. He scored. Yes, Madrid are now qualified into the Copa del Rey final. However, you have to give him credit. You really do have to give him credit. Mikel Arteta says Gabriel felt something in his hamstring, and we don't know how big that is. He continues and says Julian Timber also was already struggling early. He couldn't continue. We will now assess both players tomorrow. Bro, you better not. You better not have those players out because you will be facing Real Madrid sooner than later. But one thing we also have to say about Arsenal in terms of injuries, Bukayo Saka comes back and gives Arsenal the winner. And it was so befitting that his celebration was like this. He's like, come on, I mean, too good of a player. He is too good of a player. I can't imagine even me trying to compare Anthony and Bukayo Saka. I literally had a bet with my brother that is a crunk Arsenal fan. In fact, his name is Big Tiv Nandi in Twitter. Chronic Arsenal fan. I literally put a bet that that Anthony Dos Santos will come out with more goals and assists for Manchester United than Bukayo Saka will for Arsenal. And I was so wrong. I was so wrong. It was truly one of the worst bets that I've ever had. And I'm not even a gambling man. But 7 minutes into his return, he scores a goal. Starboy is definitely back. Desiree Doué scores his 10th goal of the season for Paris Saint-Germain, in addition to 11 assists. He has been a fantastic addition to the Paris side, and he is just 19-year old. This is one player that Rúben Amorim should be keeping an eye out for. When it comes to those double 10 position, those two tens position, Desiree Doué is just meant. People do not understand his ability to carry the ball. His understanding to beat a man is just second to none. And I can't wait to watch him play against who is Paris Saint-Germain playing against? I've forgotten, in the Champions League, but they're playing against somebody. I just can't wait to watch them. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about this situation down in the comments. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that follow button. We will be going on live a lot more. So make sure you guys turn on your notifications so you guys do not miss anything that we have here to do on Pillar Sports. Hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button. This is big news because Anthony Elanga should not be in the discussion of we shouldn't have sold him. I say this because Anthony Elanga would have not been Anthony Elanga the way he is right now if he was still at Manchester United. The opportunities, the background, the foundations for him to be able to play the way he's playing, even just the style of tactics and the style of play would have not given Anthony Elanga the opportunity to play at Manchester United. So let us stop all this mess about he is better than Anthony, he is better than Marcus Rashford, or he is better than whichever wingers we had at the time before he left. Stop it. Anthony Elanga, while he was at Manchester United, was the Energizer Bunny. He was the work rate guy. He was the athlete. He was the guy that was running for Ragnick. He did not have a cutting edge. He did not have the ability to snuff out or to sniff out opportunities the way he is now at Nottingham Forest. So let us honestly be honest with ourselves. Find the situations, find ways to win the games, and stop making excuses about somebody that left Manchester United 2-3 years ago. It doesn't make any sense. Yes, we got 15 million. He is a servant of Manchester. He gave us a lot of things while he was at Manchester United. But for us to think that Manchester United and Nottingham Forest are on the same playing field in terms of how people attack Manchester United and how people basically play Nottingham Forest is a total different game. And we need to respect that, and we need to put that in context when we are talking about Anthony Elanga. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications so you do not miss anything that we do here on Pillar Sports. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.